So you joined MHAO as a program assistant.
Yes.
Oh, you were all the way to,
yeah, I was part-time assistant to plan that second peer apocalypse.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then MHAO went through a growth state for a number of years, because when I first was associated with the organization, it was very small. You were Mental Health Association with MHAO was there for just the Alternatives Conference. And if people don't know what Alternatives is, it's SAMHSA, the National Center for Mental Health. It's the one that gives out all the grants for mental health related from the U.S. government top down. They hold regional conferences, these alternative conferences where they did. And that's how basically MHAO started. Is that correct?
Yeah, they would fund the National Technical Assistance Centers, and part of the role of those technical assistance centers was to take turns. There were 3 of them across the country that were funded by SAMHSA, and they each took turns to host the Alternatives Conference. SAMHSA has since quit funding it, but the conference itself is working to stay alive. It's not the TA centers that do it anymore, but
via nonprofits in the private sector outside of the SAMHSA organization.
Yes.
So then, how did you were part of then transitioning, I guess, that peer support services then into, like, I guess you can speak to moving from just like a conference orientated organization to then doing so much of what you do now, and maybe talk about how diverse the services that MHAO offers and how that's different from like the original intent of, I guess, the original reason the organization was there.
Yeah, because we started out very grassroots advocacy in mental health, policy changing focus, things like that, and then the conference and the technical assistance. And we'd started Peer Apocalypse, which was the local conference that wasn't funded by a government entity, and so had much more, it was by us for us sort of thing. And so there was that, and then we started to talk about, well, we've got the opportunity to launch into direct services. Do we want to do that? Right. Like, heck yes. And I said, can I have the chance at directing that? Because by that time I'd had a nice break from actually doing direct service, but really believed in it and wanted to see it implemented in our in the Portland area. So we did that. We had started with, there was 4 people in 2015 to launch these peer services. Fast forward, we had a few $100,000 to launch the program, and now we have, the organization itself is diversified, but our peer services have grown from that 1 program to over 23 programs, 30 plus people doing that work. We're now an organization of almost 45 folks. So yeah. So
actually, this is a good point to bring up. So you went from being like delivering peer services to then being the director of people that delivered peer services. Yes. And then went to being the executive director of everybody doing everything under the roof.
Yes.
And not that it's run like, a dictatorship. Right. Or a
kingdom.
Or a kingdom. No. Because, the staff you have, the administrative staff you have does excellent work.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so take me to kind of talk to me about how the skills that were required, or maybe things that you weren't expecting, making that leap from, basically delivering the services to then managing the people and the services themselves to then managing the projects. Because I think there are 3 different skill sets.
Yeah. But I didn't consciously seek to, I want to do this. And it feel a little bit in my life like Forrest Gump. Yeah. Right place, right time, with opportunities that I was able to take advantage of in those moments. And so like I shared, I thought the pathway was to become a therapist, spend a year in grad school for therapy. I was so ingrained and passionate about peer services, I could not make that clinical leap. But had started during that time, had started developing and launching our peer services at MHAO. So what I didn't know was administration was a degree. Right. Who knew you could go to school for that? But that was my passion.
Right.
And so quickly changed my graduate degree trajectory into public administration, health administration, and all at the same time while MHAO was growing, used the organization for study during 2 years of grad degree. So
well, that worked out, right?
I know, had a lot of support and expertise along the way, helped me.